Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunatu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhikamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeli Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Devaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Kukarastvandakaro Vai Urukarastanivartaka Andhakara Nirodhitvad Gururitya Vidiyate Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvadaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvadaya.
Mrityave
Mrityave
Brahma Vidyacharyaya
Brahma Vidyacharyaya
Nachiketase cha
Nachiketase cha.
Now we go to mantra, passage 12, on the page number 7. The passage that we just discussed yesterday, in the second line, it was said, Sodhvana Paramatmati Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. He reaches the destination of his journey, which is the limitless nature of Vishnu, one's own self. Literally it says, he reaches the abode of Vishnu. So the question is, we also raised this yesterday, if indeed you reach some destination which is different from you, you reached an abode, you reached a destination as a result of a journey, as a result of travel, as a result of an effort, then as long as the momentum of that effort is so long, you will remain in the destination, in the place. And when the moment of effort goes away, then you will again have to come back. Which means that if there is indeed reaching a goal in life, where the goal is different from me who is seeking to reach, then the reaching cannot be permanent, cannot be eternal. The reaching also will be limited to some time, because I reached in time and therefore I will have to come back in time. Because it is some force of my effort that made me reach there and stay there. When the force or momentum or effort gets exhausted, I will have to come back. So Lord Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita about those who reach the abode called Swarga or heaven as a result of punya, a virtue. Lord Krishna says, Kshine punye martyalokum vishanti. When punya, the virtue which enabled you to reach heaven, when you run out of that, then you have to come back again to the world of mortals. So when the Upanishad said that when Rishi is the destination, which is the limitless or supreme abode, that is Vishnu, is it reaching of something unreached? In the reaching, is there a person or one individual who is trying to reach some destination different from himself or herself? If that is so, then it cannot be a permanent reaching, meaning that it will not bring about an end to my struggle, it will continue. And that would not be called moksha. Moksha means freedom, unconditional freedom, and that cannot be the result of reaching or attaining something. So we come to this mantra, the next one, where it says that it is not that the seeker reaches something other than himself or herself. It is reaching my own self. How can that be reaching my own self? Because my own self is already reached. I already what I am. With the question of reaching myself, with the question of becoming myself. So there is something in our life that creates this notion that I reach something, that I am not where I should be, that I am not what I should be. That kind of a notion is created in my life. And that's what necessitates the idea of reaching somewhere. So what is the nature of this journey? It is reaching what is already reached. So the next mantra says, number 12, Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gudhautma na prakashate drishyate tu avyaya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshibhihi. The first line says, Esha atma sarveshu bhuteshu gudaha. Esha means this. Atma means the self. Esha atma, this self, is gudaha, is as though hidden. This Atma or the self is hidden. Where is it hidden? Sarveshu bhuteshu, in all the beings. The self is hidden in all the beings, meaning that it is hidden in myself as well, because I am one of those all the beings. If the Atma is hidden in all the beings, that means that the Atma is hidden in me also, and in you, and in everyone. However, the second part says, na prakashate. It does not shine, does not become evident prakash. So prakash means light. Na prakashate. It does not illuminate itself, it does not become evident, it is not known. See that word Atma, if we understand it etymologically, it will explain what the meaning is. There is a verse in one of the Puranas, Linga Purana, I think, where the word Atma is explained as derived from several roots or several stems. Yat chapnoti yadadatte, yat chasis, yat apnoti yadadatte. Yat apnoti, that which attains everything. Yat adatte, that which swallows everything. Yat chatti vishayaniha, that which eats or enjoys all the objects. Yat chasti santato bhavaha, that because of whom there is this continuity, the existence of the universe. Tasmat atmeti kirjate. Atma is called Atma. Because apnoti, because it pervades everywhere and everything. Yat chati vishayan iha, that which experiences all the objects, the experiencer. Yat adatte, so yat adatte means one experiences, yat chat, and the one who swallows everything in himself. Yat chat atte, atte means eats. So one who pervades everything, one who experiences everything, one who eats or swallows everything, and one that provides continuity to everything. On account of doing all this, it is called Atma. Atma's simple meaning is self, means I. The word Atma simply means I. When we take what we call the commonly understood meaning. But if we take the etymological meaning, then that I, what is the dimension of I? That which pervades, which all pervasive Apnoti, which experiences everything, the experiencer, which swallows everything, which is abode of everything. You know what is meant by swallow? Just as a clay swallows all the parts, or the gold swallows all the ornaments. When ornaments are melted, they become gold, meaning gold as though swallows all the ornaments. When something is destroyed, it goes back into its own cause. The effect merges into its cause. All ornaments merge back into gold. All the parts merge back into clay. Similarly, the effect merges back into the cause, material cause. So here, so you can say the material cause swallows the effect in a way. The clay swallows all the parts. The gold swallows all the ornaments. Which means the material cause swallows all the effect. That which swallows is material cause. Atma swallows everything, which is, it is the cause of the universe. And the way it pervades the universe. And the material cause is already the self of the effect. If clay is the material cause of the pot, because pot is made of clay, Then what is the relationship between the pot and clay? Clay is the self of the pot. Because there cannot be pot without the clay. Take away the clay from the pot, no pot remains. So pot is the essence, clay is the essence of the pot, content of the pot, self of the pot, reality of the pot. So Atma is the material cause from which the whole universe has emerged and to which everything merges back, who is therefore just as the clay pervades in all the parts, Atma pervades in all names and forms, it is the self of all. So this is the definition of Atma etymologically. Atma means the self of all pervasive, the cause of the universe. And also, if you want to count, let us say there are 100 different pots and pans. Then one way of counting them is that there are 100 entities. The other way of counting would be like our Puja Swamiji was invited for a bhiksha by a jeweler. At the end of the dinner, the jeweler proudly took him to his storeroom where he had stored all his ornaments and inside the room. Finally opened the door and switches on the light and there's a glitter because there's a huge heap of golden ornaments in that room. And the jeweler proudly displays that to Puja Swamiji and says, Swamiji, in all his generosity, he says, Swami, please take one. The Swami says, please give me gold. Please take one. Please give me gold. So not understanding what is intended, the jeweler picks up an ornament, a bangle, gives it to Swami. Says, no, I don't want bangle, I want gold. If you have gold, then you have everything, is it not so? So from the standpoint of ornaments, of names and forms, you count many, but from the standpoint of gold, which is the material cause, you count there is one. Therefore in the Upanishad, there is this proposition, or there is a question, where the aspirant approaches the master and asks, Sir, is there something knowing which everything becomes known? Is there one thing knowing which everything becomes known? Answer is yes. By knowing the material cause, you essentially know everything made of that. By knowing the gold, you essentially know all the ornaments, because what is worth knowing an ornament is only its material, its essence, itself. It is true that the ornament has a name and form. And by knowing the ornament as gold, you may say that, I have not learned name and form. Who made this ornament? What is its weight? And what, you may not know that stuff. But that's all of inconsequential. What is consequential about ornament is that it is gold. Other things come and go, they are all incidental. Gold is the essential. So when it is said that Atma swallows everything merges back into Atma, it is a material cause. That means it is one without a second. It is the self of all. And so the first line of the mantra says, Esha sarvesha bhuteshu godotmana prakashate. This Atma is all pervasive, is self of all. And it is all pervasive, it is boundless, it is limitless. The limitless Atma, the self, is the self of all, dwelling in as myself, manifesting as myself. But the mantra says, na prakashate, unfortunately it is not evident. Meaning that the limitless is myself. Atma means myself. And Atma means all pervasive and limitless and one without a second. That is myself. If limitless is myself, if non-dual one is myself, then how come I find myself limited being? This is a question. What is baffling is this thing in our life. That on one hand, I am told that you are limitless. Upanishad or Vedanta says that the self, I am Atma, Brahma, this Atma is Brahma, this Atma is limitless. Whereas my experience of myself is that I am limited in every way. How do we explain this? This contradiction in my life, where I experience myself as quite contrary to what the scriptures declare to be my nature. Meaning that I have one perception of myself which is quite contrary or opposite to the perception that the scriptures have about myself. There are two perceptions now. The Upanishad says, I am Atma, Brahma, the self is Brahma, the self is limited, limitless. Whereas my mind says that I am limited in every way. How do we reconcile? So here the verse says, na prakashate. The self does not become evident. Even though the self of the Atma is limitless, it does not shine, does not reveal itself as limitless. Meaning, even though limitlessness is my nature, for whatever reason, that self does not reveal itself to me as limitless. On the other hand, the self seems to reveal itself to me as a limited entity. Meaning that whenever I think of myself, whenever I look at myself, who do I find? A limited being. A self that is limited in time, place, in abilities, in every way. One among the countless. On account of feeling small and limited, I also feel very insecure and a need of protecting myself, and therefore I feel that the whole world is out there to get me and I have to protect this, fight and protect myself. And there was Swami word ninja, fighting. So my relation to the world is a fighter. Fights back and I fight and I fall and I can. That's how the life goes on. Because of what? Because of my perception of myself, understand? My life is not what it is because of who I am. My life is what it is because of my perception of myself. If I indeed was limited, insignificant, insecure, and I felt that way, then I guess it is fair. Na prakashate esha sarveshu bhuteshu, in all the beings, Atma, the self, the all-pervasive, limitless, one without a second, non-dual. Na prakashate, it does not shine that way, it does not become evident that way. In fact, it becomes evident in a contrary way. So I do know myself. The fortunate or unfortunate thing is that I am a self-conscious being and therefore conscious of myself. That's where the problems begin. If there is no self-consciousness, there is no problem. In a way, all living beings are conscious of themselves. but not the way in which the human being is conscious of himself. The dogs and cats are also in a way conscious of themselves. Meaning they also seem to know who they are. Because a dog, when it sees another dog, has one kind of an attitude. And when a dog sees a cat, has a different kind of an attitude. That shows that the dog seems to know that this is not my kind. Either it attacks or runs away. So there seems to be some awareness as to who that dog is, or a cat is, or a mosquito is. So some kind of a self-awareness is there, because then only they can survive, otherwise you can't survive. Then only you can protect yourself. Then only you will reach out for survival and for food and whatever is required. That's about all the self-consciousness that other creatures have. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, mahituram cha. That there is hunger and they need to appease hunger. They get tired, there is need to sleep and rest. They feel fearful, they need to protect themselves. And a natural instinct of self-propagation. Every creature has this. That much self-consciousness they have, and that's about all. But human being has a much more advanced self-consciousness, in which I am conscious that I am a limited being. A dog doesn't feel I am a limited being. Not that it is limitless, but does not suffer from a sense of limitation. You follow? Otherwise, poor dog can never sleep. Here you find him sleeping all the time. Dogs are all the, let's say street dogs. Wherever you see, they are always right in the middle of the road. There's no problem at all. No worries. There is no stress anywhere other than human beings, I tell you. Dogs and buffaloes have no stress of any kind. No worry about the future, nothing about the past, no regrets and hurts and guilt of the past, and no anxiety of the future, and nothing about present. They can sleep. That's called freedom. That's moksha. But look at the human being, most evolved creature in the universe. Possesses an intellect with which it can know, it can create, it can grow, it can do all wonders. Has a self-consciousness. And that has made us what we are because of self-consciousness. And I'm conscious of a self, but I'm conscious of which self? I'm a limited self. And therefore, because I find myself a limited self, inadequate self, not only limited, inadequate is more important. What is inadequate? In my own perception, I am not adequate. I am not what I should be. I expect myself to be all-knowing, expect myself to be all-powerful, expect myself to be something, and I find myself quite inadequate, not able to live up to my own expectation of myself. And therefore, not satisfied or happy with myself. And therefore, human being is an unhappy creature. The moment I become conscious of myself, I become unhappy. The only way I can be happy is when, for whatever reason, I am spared of this burden of being conscious of myself. And that is why we are happy in deep sleep state, when we are not conscious of ourselves. The only reason why we seem to be free in deep sleep state. There is no self-consciousness. At that time, I don't care how I look. If you take my photograph, I don't pose. I don't do anything with my hair or with my... Because no self-conscious, so freedom. Freedom from self-conscious. What? Freedom from consciousness of a limited self. Is not just freedom from consciousness of a limited self. If I become conscious of the limitless self, then there is no problem. So, na prakashate, Upanishad says that the self as though does not reveal itself. Even though the self is all pervasive, it is limitless, it is one without a second, ever free, it does not reveal itself that way. On the other hand, the self that is free seems to reveal itself as the one that is bound. That which is limitless seems to reveal itself as a limited being. That is one non-diverse seems to reveal itself as one among countless many. What is the reason? This is called ignorance. So this is how Vedanta begins. Vedanta begins with the most fundamental aspect of myself. Is who am I? What is my perception of myself? Because my perception of myself, or what I take myself to be, becomes a basis of how I live. What my agenda is, what my desires are, what my values are, what my attitudes are, is all determined by my perception of myself, who I am. If I am a limited being, then there is an impulse to become free from limitation. That decides then what I do. Always driven by one desire after desire, whether one single desire is to become free from limitation. But that limitation is perceived differently, and so every desire is different. Although basically every desire is to become free from limitation, but limitation appears in a different way. Now limitation of time, limitation of money, limitation of this, limitation of that, limitation of health, all kinds of limitations. So desire is different. Although one desire manifests in all these different desires. A desire shows a sense of limitedness, inadequacy, lacking, wanting. That's how I find myself to be. Why? How come the self that is complete is thought to be a lacking, wanting self? Why is it so? Why is it so, Swami? People ask in frustration, because people get frustrated with this life. Regardless of what you do, you can't become free from that sense of lack or want. So why? I don't know. So what does Vedanta, when it doesn't, is ignorance. What? Ignorance does not mean not knowing at all. That ignorance is good. That ignorance is bliss. In the deep sleep state, I do not know myself at all, then I am in bliss. You follow? But this is a very painful ignorance, where I know myself also and do not know also. The stock example of ignorance of Vedantin is the rope snake example. Whoever thought of that in the beginning, first? We find it in like Manduke Karika, in Shankar Bhashya, etc. The rope snake example. What does the example say? What is lying in front of me is a piece of rope. But because of lack of adequate light, or because of whatever reason, whether limitation of my sight, or because of some preoccupation of my mind, somehow I perceive that object as a snake. Why? I don't know. What's the reason why you perceive rope as snake? We don't know. Vedantins are pretty smart people. They do not attempt to provide reason where reason cannot be provided. Meaning that Vedantins do not take pride in trying to explain everything. He says, I do not know. He has no hesitation in saying, I do not know. The Nyayikas are very proud people, the logicians. They seek to explain everything by logic. Vedanta says this basic thing cannot be explained. Everything else can be explained. But why? In a way, I know myself as to who I am, meaning that I am conscious of myself, but then I take myself to be quite contrary to what I truly am. This is this self-consciousness. This is my perception of myself. This is my notion of myself, my opinion of myself, my judgment of myself, whatever word you want to use. I have an opinion of myself, a judgment of myself, a perception of myself, an understanding or knowledge or a delusion of myself, complex about myself. Just as a rope is seen in a snake, so also the limitless is seen as limited. Because of ignorance. It is not just ignorance. Ignorance has two aspects. Vedanta explains that ajnanam or ignorance has two aspects. One is called avaranam, other is called vikshepa. Avarana means veiling. Vikshepa means projection. The rope snake example, we can see both these things happening. That when I see that object as a snake, then number one, I do not know it as a rope. The rope is not known as a rope, meaning the true nature of that object is veiled from me. So ignorance veils the true nature of something, as in case of a rope, and projects there what is not there, namely the snake. If I had seen the rope as a rope, there would be no problem. But when I see a snake, it causes fear, palpitation, it causes all kinds of reactions in me. The opposite example is one of mirage water. That's the other example. Where there is a desert, I see water. If I'm thirsty, that water attracts me. So water creates in me an attraction. Which water? Mirage water. The snake causes me fear. Which snake? The rope snake. A fear is caused where there is no cause of fear. An attraction is caused where there is no cause of attraction. If I had known the thing for what it is, there would be no fear, no dvesha. For snake I have a dvesha or an aversion. And for the mirage water I have an attachment, a like or attachment. So mirage water is an example of raga or attachment which creates craving, desire to acquire. And snake is the example of aversion which creates fear and to get away. Vedanta says that all raga dveshas are thus the product of ignorance, of not knowing the thing as it is. Raga or attachment is created because I do not know that it is desert and I think it is water, and thus it appears as water. I am attracted to something which is gets called Maya. If you want to call it Maya, call it Mithya, or Maya creates an attraction in me. So Mithya is an effect. What is the effect? Creates attraction. Mithya is an effect, creates an aversion. So as though this mithya has a capacity to create in me the raga dvesha, the attachment and aversion, that's why it's called Maya, which as though creates something which is for which there is no reason. So avidya and Maya go together. So this is what is happening in our life. So that means it is not that I am totally ignorant of the rope, not that I am totally knowledgeable about the rope. I am ignorant of the rope in as much as I do not know the rope as rope. But it is not that I do not know the object at all. I know that object also. You know in which way do I know? That object A rope snake. I know in some ways and I do not know in other ways. When I say this is a snake, what do I say? This is a snake, right? You follow what I'm saying? What is there is rope. What I say? This is a snake. So when in this statement, this is a snake, there are two elements. One is this is. Second, a snake. It's likely that somebody think that this is a garland. This is a garland. Somebody may think that that object is a stick. This is a stick. Somebody say this is a streak of water. The rope can create, because it is shiny, can create variety of delusions in people. Somebody may think that this is a crack in the soil. You follow? This is a snake, this is a garland, this is a stick, this is a crack, this is a streak of water, and so on and so forth. In all of them, there is something common. What is common? This is common. It belongs to what, That this is aspect belongs to the rope. What rave is what rope. But the way it is seen is different. So when I say this is a snake, this is a garland, this is a stick, part of it is right and part of it is wrong. You follow? The this is part is right. The snake part is wrong. See, if this is what not, suppose it was pitch dark and I did not see the rope at all, then this is also would not be seen. You follow? So Vedantins will say that. I know the rope in some ways, but I do not know the rope in another way. I know the rope in general, but I do not know the rope in particular. What is the general knowledge about rope? This is a general. This is a table, this is a chair. This is applies to everything. The universal. About rope, I know the universal aspect. Everything has a universal aspect and a particular aspect. Like a table. This is a table. So this is a universal aspect. And table is a particular aspect. This is a microphone. This is a universal aspect. Microphone is a particular aspect. Thus, every entity has a universal as well as particular. So in case of this rope, what is known to me is the universal aspect. This is. That part of rope I know. But the particular aspect that is rope, that I do not know. You see, this is happening. So what does ignorance do? Ignorance does not veil from me the universal. Ignorance veils from me the particular. Very, very unique situation. If there was pitch darkness and I could not see the rope at all, then I do not know either universal or particular. None of them I know, then there is no problem. If it was broad daylight and I saw the object as rope, then I know both universal as well as particular. Then also there is no problem. You follow? Two fellows are no problem. One who totally does not know and one who totally knows. In between everybody is a problem. So sleeping person has no problem because he totally does not know. Even the I also is completely hidden, the I am also is not there. So he is blissfully, ignorantly blissful. Other is a wise person who knows the universal and particular. Not only he knows that about himself. So something like that is happening about ourselves. In our knowledge of ourselves also, something like this is happening. That I am is self-shining. Atma is consciousness, self-revealing, meaning that it reveals whether I like it or not. I cannot escape from that. I cannot escape from I am. Because self-revealing. So I know that I am at any time. Is it not so? I know that I am. How do I know that I am? Swami, where are you? Are you there? I am here. How do you know? Let me scratch. Am I here or not? Am I here? I don't have to do that. That I am is known to me effortlessly because that I am is self-revealing. Any other thing can come provided I am there to begin with. I can scratch my head provided I know that I am. So I am is the first thing which is self-revealing. Meaning that we always know that I am. There is a universal aspect of myself. I am. And I am is self-revealing, therefore I shine also. I am Ahamasmi. I shine Aham Bhami. I always like myself, I never dislike myself. Aham Priya, Asmi Bhami Priya, Asti Bhati Priya. About me, there is always known. Asti Bhati is always known. Priya is a question. That's where the problem is. If I am dear to myself, all problems are solved. And that's what we have to do, is to discover love for ourselves. Vedanta, and I am trying to do that. I decorate myself so that I can love myself. I do all kinds of things to myself so that I can become lovable to myself, really. Even though I may be displaying myself before the world, but in fact what is the need is for me to be lovable to myself. I will not display myself before you unless I am lovable to. I look at myself in the mirror first. And do I like it or not? Then only I display. If I do not like, I won't. So, I want to be lovable to myself. Although it looks like I am always showing myself before the world, but first I have to accept myself. So all my attempt is to become lovable to myself. Whether I put on weight, I give up weight, I work out, whatever I do. I become a PhD, I become this, a scientist, I research, whatever I do. Behind that is an attempt of becoming lovable to myself. Poor man is exhausted in this life, okay, so that's the next time again. Vedanta says that all you need to do is just to know who you are, then you'll be lovable. You don't have to become lovable to yourself, you already are lovable. You just to recognize yourself for what you are, then you see, you'll find that you're all right, acceptable to yourself. But like the rope snake, similar thing is happening in our own life, that about myself also. There is universal knowledge, or knowledge of universal aspect of myself that I am, and I shine. Ahamasmi, Bhami, Asti, Bhati. This I know. But a particular aspect of I do not know that I am limitless. I am one without a second. I am Ananda. I am full. That I don't know. So this is what ignorance does. Having done that is do what you want to do now. You know, it is like sometimes you leave the children into this, what do you call them? There are this maze, isn't it? Put him there. Or in that game of snake and ladder and this and that, and then go around up and down, endless stuff. And so also as though I'm put in this life with this simple thing, that I know myself and I, the universal, do not know the particular. That's how I'm sent here. Unfortunately, I don't know how to now solve this problem. I'm trying to solve this problem in my own way, but I go round and round, go up and down. Ladder I go up, snake I come down. This is what is happening. This is my life. And Vedanta is the only thing that has the right solution. Only thing. Because Vedanta shows to us how the only problem in our life is one of ignorance, where ignorance has two aspects, the avaram and vikshepa, veiling and projection. That I know myself, the universal, but do not know the particular aspect of me, that I am limitless, I am whole. And that is where projection takes place. Projection does not take place in the universal. Projection takes place only in the particular. In case of the rope also, when I say this is the snake, that this is the same as what is in the rope, But the particular rope, I do not know, that is where the projection takes place, therefore that's where the projection of snake takes place. Similarly, I am is a universal, but in limitless, the projection takes place of limited, and therefore I take myself a limited being. That's what the first line says. Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gurotmana prakashade. In all the beings, the Atma, the self, the limitless, that is as though hidden and does not reveal himself as is. Then how do I know myself? Karta, bhokta, sukhi, dukhi. I'm a doer, I'm an experiencer, I'm happy, I'm unhappy. I know myself that way, which is the product of the projection. Meaning that actionless is perceived as doing things. Abhokta is perceived as bhokta, akarta is perceived as karta. Akarta means actionless. I think I'm a doer. Abhokta means one who is free from any bhoga, free from any need to have experience. I think I'm a bhokta. So karta, bhokta. You understand these words? Karta, bhokta. Karta, a sense of doership. Bhokta, the sense of experiencership. That's all life is. I do things, as a result I experience. By experience again I do something. That experience prompts me to do something, I experience. The result. The result creates another desire. So doing and experiencing. Kartrutva, bhoktrutva. When I do something, there is a problem. There is a potential problem. After doing something, I realize I should not have done it. I should not have said it. I should not have invested there. I should not have taken up this one. I should not have spoken to this fellow. Whatever it is. There is regret. I regret. And if in my doing something I hurt somebody, there is a hurt, there is a guilt. So this doing business creates in me regret for something that I ultimately feel I should not have done, or creates a guilt if I did something wrong. And that bhoktrutvam experience, when you do something wrong, creates in me a hurt. Follow? Kartrutvam, the doership, creates guilt, and bhoktrutvam, experiencership, creates a hurt. A dog is no kartrutvam, no bhoktrutvam. No guilt and no hurt. Your dog, so you can observe. Even if you beat him up for whatever reason, that's what they say, the obedience school. The dogs are taken to obedience school and sometimes they are punished just to make him obedient. In fact, in India, people used to thought that that's what you should do with your wife, you know. And so becomes obedient for the rest of the life. But it forgets. Dog doesn't remember, doesn't keep that thing, oh, this fellow slapped me the other day, and after 6 months he comes and bites you to take revenge. I will do that. You told me something 6 months, 3 years ago. This fellow in the village, in the morning, in the village, they used to have this, from this particular tree, a little, what do you call it, the stick they use for brushing the teeth. Neem tree. Yeah, they take half an hour, do that, sitting there, and whatever they must be thinking. We were also doing that. And one fellow, he comes and gives him 3 slaps. He's sitting in the morning. What is it? Why? He says, 3 years ago you did this to me. It's all a human being. Kartrutva and bhoktrutva. You think of this sense of doership and sense of experiencership. The doership creates in me a guilt if in my opinion I did something which was improper, and experiencership creates in me hurt, when in my opinion you did something which was wrong, unfair. If in my perception I did something unfair, I'm guilty. In my perception you did something to me unfair, I'm hurt. That's our life. Hurt and guilt. Guilt and hurt and guilt. All sorrow can be traced to this stuff. Kartrutva bhaktritva. And so this Atma not only does not reveal itself true nature, but that it reveals as I am Karta, Bhokta, Shrota, Manta, Vijnata. I'm a speaker, hearer, thinker, doer, experiencer. This is how I know myself. And that is a cause of all sorrow. Whenever I feel sorrow or sad, I should ask myself, who is sad? Answer will be, the hearer is sad. The speaker is sad. I heard something that made me sad. I said something that makes me sad. I thought of something that makes me sad. Always an speaker, hearer, thinker, some meaning that somebody who takes that role, that alone can be sad. The father is sad. Mother is sad. So his father is a tough job. Swami used to describe this father, poor fellow. He has a son, 18-year-old, well built and tall, with a white chest. He's very proud of it. But he's dropped out from the school. And he managed to get some money from his mother, so he has a motorbike, from which he has removed the silencer. So wherever he goes, he announces, And he doesn't cover his chest. He may wear a shirt, but and that on the chest, he displays a chain which he has got from his mother. And like this is his son. He thinks of his son, he has blood pressure, The father, the thought of the son creates blood pressure. So, father means blood pressure, mother means blood pressure, mother-in-law means blood pressure, daughter-in-law. Who has blood pressure? Mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, father, mother, this, that. Who is sad, unhappy? There always an answer. Who is unhappy? Father is unhappy. Mother is unhappy. Sister is unhappy. Friend is unhappy. Some role will be unhappy. I playing variety of roles. All problems belong to roles because I look upon myself as a role. I'm a doer, enjoyer, speaker, hearer, not realizing these are all roles. I become a speaker, I become a thinker, I become a hearer as though, and each one of them becomes then, each of these complexes becomes a source of unhappiness. So Vedanta teaches that all unhappiness comes not because what the world does to me, not because of what other things are, because of what I am. Not also because of what I am, because of what I take myself to be. It is my perception of myself that's the cause of all my unhappiness, and therefore the wrong perception of myself is cause of all unhappiness, and therefore the right perception of myself is cause of happiness. You follow? If you understand truly the cause of unhappiness, then only you will know what the solution is. If I think that you are the cause of my unhappiness, then I'll do something, fighting with you. I'll do something there. That's what I think. Well, who is the cause of my sadness? This fellow. That person. And I keep on fighting with, whole world. And there'll be always somebody. Every morning, somebody else. Every day, somebody else. The ninja is fighting. Don Quixote is fighting, with his sword in the air. He sees some kind of imaginary enemies or whatever he sees and fights. Human being's life is just like that. And so all that needs to be done is what? Just change of perception. That's all. Change of perception of myself. Right now there is a perception born of ignorance. The right perception which is born of knowledge. That's all. That's how Vedanta makes the case of knowledge. Because there is ignorance. And all unhappiness is cause of ignorance. No other reason than ignorance. You think of some reason and tell me in the next class. No, Swami, not ignorance, this is the cause. As I say, if you ask the question, who is unhappy? It will be somebody. Father is unhappy. Father I, mother I, sister I, friend I, boss I, subordinate I, etc., etc. Just I, not just I, the particular I always unhappy. And that particular is superimposed because of ignorance. Esha sarveshu bhuteshu ghodotmana prakashate. His Atma, the all-pervasive, the limitless, he is the self of all the beings, but does not reveal itself as it is. On the other hand, it is revealed quite contrary to what it is, meaning it is known as quite contrary to what it is. Then what should we do? The second line will tell us that. We'll see. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashyakrtau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyoma Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo